Hi there, Vuthy. Let's take a look at your first set of essays. The first one is about school, entertaining, or merely educational. Let's see what you said. In the last decades, government of any modern countries raised the issue on the declining level of student knowledge who have recently graduated. Okay, grammatically, this sentence has a couple of problems. When you say who here, it looks as if it's referring to the student knowledge, and I know that's not what you mean. Let's try the sentence again, okay? So in the last decades, governments of many modern countries have raised the issue of the declining level, let's see, the declining level of knowledge of students who have recently graduated. Okay, that's one suggestion to rephrase this correctly. Several education reforms have been conducted. I don't know if you can conduct a reform. I want to say that it needs a different verb here. Have been implemented, have been suggested. Conducted, I don't think creates the appropriate collocation here. So let's try it again. Several education reforms have been implemented in order to address this problem and have identified a lack of interactions between teachers and students on courses that may not be stimulating. Okay, now, here's the thing. This isn't rephrasing it's not paraphrasing the prompt at all. You're just going into a totally different territory here. You're not rephrasing this at all. You're just saying that students don't have knowledge, and that's not what the essay is asking you to talk about. I mean, they're asking you if we should just have strict academic lessons that just focus on, feeding students information and knowledge, or if we should do something to make the lessons and school itself more fun. Okay? What could the logic behind that be? Why could this be beneficial? And then, of course, what do the proponents of soul education state as their reasoning for not wanting something like this? Okay, so all of this it's as if you're talking about a totally different essay. All right, now let's take a look at your body paragraphs. Firstly, teachers play a key role on the quality of presentation about subject they have an expertise to an audience doubting the knowledge utility. This is largely because schools do not value the benefits of interactions where students would participate actively in a course and will contribute to the dissemination of information through a constructive activity. For example, a recent research from Harvard indicate that science experimentations classes are well appreciated by students and would help them integrate theoretical concepts using real use cases. Okay, now in terms of task achievement, you're trying to deal with the topic, I feel like at least, but you're not really. Okay, remember, we're talking about entertaining school, or actually more entertaining school, or just a school that solely educates. And here you're talking about teachers playing a key role. You're talking about knowledge, you're talking about interactions, and you're talking about dissemination of information, and then you're talking about experiments that help students integrate theoretical concepts. None of this has anything to do with entertainment in class. Okay? None of it. None of it deals with the prompt. So I have to say this is definitely a tangential answer. It's not what they're asking you. Okay? So apart from that, a lot of the grammar has problems. So let's look at it grammatically at least. Teachers play a key role in the quality of presentation. No, I can't even do it like that. Let me try it again. Teachers play a key role in the subject presentation quality. I can't even say it like that. I don't really know what you're trying to say. I think you're trying to say that teachers play a key role in the way they present their subject because they have expertise in it. and they're presenting it to an audience that doubts the usefulness of the subject. Okay, so I think this is what you're trying to say. And then after that, you say this is largely because schools do not value the benefits of interactions where students would participate actively in a course and contribute to the dissemination of information through a constructive activity. Grammatically, it's fine, but again, it's not on topic. And then we don't say a recent research, we say recent research without the a. Indicates that science experimentation, no S, classes are well appreciated by students and would help them integrate theoretical concepts using real life cases. Okay, so then the other thing that's missing here is that you need a kind of wrap-up sentence that would conclude everything and wrap it all together and bring it back to your first initial sentence. Okay, so also it looks like there's some problem adapting the template to this essay. All right, let's move on. However, even though the primary purpose of schools stems to youngsters' work integration by teaching them passively during a lecture, I don't understand the use of the word stems here. It feels wrong. I think you mean something else. It does not replace that any boring course can be presented as a strategic skills which would support their future achievement. Okay, again, there's some wrong words being used here. Replace is not the right word. And not as a strategic skills, but it can be presented as a strategic skill. Okay, take for example the study from Cambridge, which has shown that maths, and particularly games theory, can be learned faster if presented with real-life objectives such as calculating odds to win the odds of winning the national lottery. Okay, and then you have to wrap it all up. You have to tell us how this applies, how it's relevant, and how it's entertaining. Okay, again, this is the whole thing that you've missed with this essay. Okay, to conclude with the examples and arguments given, I firmly believe that this is a teacher's '(S) responsibility to attract student attention in order to present an interactive and enjoyable lecture which would enhance its memory. It is predicted that future psychological studies would recommend different teaching methodologies in order to improve education quality. All right, that part's fine. But again, there's nothing about entertainment here. So I'm going to just say one more time that this essay is not on topic at all. Okay, it's like you talked about teaching, you talked about lessons, but you didn't talk about what you're supposed to be talking about. So let's take a look at your second essay. This is the enjoyable activity one. Children education. All right, should be '(S). Children's education is often associated with the acquisition of knowledge and development of ideas by reading books. However, other thrilling activities are also contributing to young people's '(S) development and cannot be learnt from a theoretical concept written in a book. In this essay, I shall examine skills enhanced through the practice of those alternatives, using examples to demonstrate points and support my arguments. All right, lovely. That's actually nice. Firstly, role games, appreciated by children who can spend hours playing them without a pause, would generally develop their sense of strategy and their cooperation skills in order to realize objectives defined by a game master. This is largely because the collective interest of the game completion is stimulating. Each player, who would rely on abilities distributed differently in a group. A recent American study has shown that youngsters taking part in role games once a week would increase their chance of entering university by 30%. All right, so what's the takeaway? Therefore, what kind of skill does it develop? Okay, role play games increase strategic skills and cooperation. Secondly, sports is another type, no S, of leisure, popular among teenagers who would be able to develop their motor skills and be introduced to competition when participating in regional or national tournaments. This is due to the fact that physical activities can provide to youngsters benefits such as accomplishment and determination, which are not skills that can be taught through books. Research, no A, from Cambridge indicates that football is a way of social integration for youngsters who do not see any benefits in reading and studies. Okay, this feels irrelevant to me. You talked about sports and how it develops motor skills and competition, and then you talk about accomplishment and determination, and then this the social integration thing feels irrelevant. It's not connected to what you were saying. And maybe this would have worked as if you had said something in the beginning like sports is another activity that benefits children in numerous ways that reading cannot. One such way is that it develops their motor skills and allows them to do this. And then additionally, football is a way of social integration for youngsters. This has been shown in research from Cambridge University, which indicated that something. Okay, so if you had done it like this, saying that you're talking about multiple skills that someone can gain from sports, and then supported each of those with examples, then you would have been okay. To conclude from the examples and arguments given, I firmly believe that practical skills, no A, are significantly contributing to youngster integration, youngsters, S', into adult life, which cannot be replaced by a classic academic achievement obtained through reading. You didn't want the A here. Okay, I'm not crazy about some of the language here because we're not talking necessarily about reading in school and academic reading. Remember, it's an enjoyable activity. So for me, I always think of this as being leisure reading, okay? So we talk a little bit about what's missing and what's also good in this essay. There are some good elements here. It read much more easily than the previous one did. There is one problem, though. Look at what the first sentence here says. It says, an enjoyable activity can develop better skills. Now, you talked about skills, okay? Strategy, cooperation, accomplishment, determination, all of those things. But look at what you didn't even mention. This right here, more creativity. Why is that important? Because you have this and here. All right, which means that they absolutely expect you to talk about both of these things, better skills and creativity. It is not enough just to talk about better skills. Okay, so an examiner would look at this and say, okay, well, not accurately developed, not completely developed, and this would be reflected in your task achievement score. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. Really, really, really pay attention to the way the prompts are written so that you can make sure you've included all the elements you need to include. All right, so Vuthy, look at what you have to do now. You have to first correct these essays based on my suggestions in this video and return them back to us. The second thing you have to do is create an error correction list. What that is you'll write down all the mistakes that were pointed out to you, and then next to each mistake, write down what the corrected version is. This is something you're going to add to with each essay correction you get back. Then the third thing you need to do, of course, is write a new set of essays, using, of course, the suggestions from this video, as well as everything you've been learning on the course so far. So try to do this all within the next 24 hours or so you can apply everything you've been learning. We're here, we'll be waiting for it, so good luck with your next writing assignment.